Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Dimitri Johnson, and you're listening to MMALatestNews.com.
It's time to roll, baby.
This is Knows MMA.
After Israel Adesanya dispatched Robert Whittaker in under 2 rounds at UFC 243 to claim the UFC Middleweight Title, order was restored in the middleweight division. Over the past couple of years, it's been a lot of champions sitting out for long periods of time, people missing weight and interim titles. Getting an undisputed champion in the fashion in which it happened was refreshing. It's a small sample size to draw conclusions from, but so far throughout Adesanya's title reign, he's essentially doing everything right. He's doing just the sort of things that's not only going to win him over a lot of fans, but a lot of appreciation from the promotion as well. Just being an active fighter at the elite level is difficult enough, but to be an active champion is where the serious pressure is. Not only is Adesanya being an active champion, in a very rare move, he's calling out the most dangerous matchup with one of the scariest fighters on the roster as the champion. It's a surefire way to all but guarantee the fans respect and admiration. Not only that, it's the most effective way to show the world just how confident you are, which sends a very strong message to any and all future opponents. Aside from the general awesomeness of how he's approaching the game, the matchup with Yoel Romero just makes for one damn entertaining affair. It's a fight that fans can really get excited about. The tall and rangy technical creative striker versus the human wrecking machine of explosiveness. No matter how this one ends up, which could be any number of ways by the way, it's just going to be fireworks. So big up to Adesanya for putting himself out there and taking the fight that absolutely nobody wants. Not only does it reflect very well on him as a mixed martial artist, it sets a really good example for the young up-and-comers out there, which I can definitely appreciate. As for the fight itself, who the hell knows how it goes down? Assuming Romero makes the weight and we get to fight night with the contest relatively unscathed, you have to be prepared for absolutely anything. Stylistically and technically speaking, Adesanya is the better striker. Romero's been known to sort of play possum and explode out of nowhere and has massive power in his hands, but the style bender is extremely creative and quite often deceptive on his feet. Romero's style of striking is extremely dangerous to go up against, but it also poses a big risk for the Cuban. Lunging forward with bombs leaves you very susceptible against a guy like Adesanya, who brings a lot of innovative movements and footwork into the cage. If he's prepared to step into some of those weird angles when Romero comes flying forward, it's definitely going to create some good opportunities. Romero also has a tendency to hang on the outside a bit and have periods of inactivity. I feel like with Adesanya's creativity and diverse tool belt, it's going to enable him to catch the Cuban with some crafty attacks from the distance. The awesome thing about Adesanya is that he takes risks, which is always pleasing to the eyes for anybody who's a fan of beautiful striking technique. But listen to me here, striking this and striking that. First of all, if there's one thing we've learned from the many years of MMA history, the better striker doesn't always win in the striking department. It's such a dangerous game to play for even the sport's elite. So while there's a disparity in skill set in the striking department, that ensures absolutely nothing about this contest. The same way the disparity in the grappling skill set between these two doesn't tell the tale. In fairness to Adesanya, he hasn't really put his grappling or jiu-jitsu on display in the octagon yet, but on paper, Romero is just leaps and bounds ahead of the style bender on the mat. The Cuban is a former world gold medalist and an Olympic silver medalist. Not to mention, and I really hate the overuse of this term, but a total freak athlete. Not even just a freak athletically, but superhuman in his appearance and ability. Hence why essentially nobody is raising their hand to fight the man, except for the UFC middleweight champion, which is a refreshing thing to see in this day and age of the hierarchy of champions and contenders essentially being disregarded in the name of fighters having big personalities with the Twitter beefs and what have you. In an era where most of our focus seems to be on the out-of-the-cage nonsense that goes on, Adesanya is out there looking to make a statement with his in-the-cage performances, and doing all the things that hardcore fans of this sport appreciate the most. And win or lose this Saturday night, it's going to pay dividends for his career in the long term.